Welcome to Rooster Radio, a broadcast dedicated to supporting and promoting local artists in the Gaston County and surrounding areas.
This episode of Rooster Radio is brought to you by Viva Techie. Viva Techie is ready to serve you fresh, delicious Mexican street food at its finest. With selections like street-style tacos, burritos, Mexican bowls, quesadillas, and more, Viva Techie will fulfill your Mexican food needs. So next time you're craving Mexican food, come on to downtown Gastonia and check out Viva Techie. They're at 238 West Main Avenue, and when you get there, tell Francisco that the Rooster sent you. Yeah, so normally we do like a little musical intro. If it were a band, we'd play the song, we'd intro something in the song. But since this is something different, we'll do. What I am going to do is I'm going to throw a commercial in. I recorded a commercial earlier this week for one of our sponsors, and that was not fun. First of all, this shit, he's always got some other shit going on. So I'm in here with Micah, the other intern, Micah. He was in here helping me record the commercial, and I'm sitting here. I had like a script.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to read through it, and like you'll get 2/3 of the way through, and you're starting to feel real good, and then some dumb shit like a piece of spit gets stuck in your throat, or you mispronounce something, and you're just immediately like, you got to start over. It sucks so bad. I hate doing it. Like, I'm not talent. That's not my thing. But, I'm kind of forced into it. I think that's what he did. We did like 4, 5, 6 takes, and it's for a Mexican restaurant too. So I'm like, white guy from the South that sounds like I'm from Connecticut, talking about burritos and quesadillas and shit. And it's like, I can't wait to see him. Sorry, Francisco. I love you, brother. This is the best I can do. But anyways, so, all right, well, here we are. Rooster Radio is back, baby. Finally, after a 9-month hiatus, we are back on the airwaves, on your YouTubes, wherever you're watching. And we decided to kick things off with something a little different. We didn't bring a band in this time. We brought in a mother hen of bands, so to speak. We're talking with Missy Wood of Creative Music Management. Missy, say hello.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, really. I'm excited to be working with Michael on this and getting the word out about our local music scene.
Yeah, and thanks for being here, Missy. I really appreciate it. So, for those that have been paying attention and following us, you probably already know who Missy is, but for those who don't, she is the creator of Creative Music Management, and I guess for lack of a better term, I wouldn't say label, I would say more like a management company for bands in the area that are looking to get more exposure, get more bookings and shows, and Missy handles a lot of bookings for these bands. Do you want to name off your lineup? Let people know who you represent.
I've been working with Scars Remain for about 4 years. We have 50 Flies, Strike the Tower, Dove Cage, A Young Man's Burial, Nova Omega, Minus 22, Cutthroat Susie, Antigone, and Happy Hour Homicide, and The Sour.
That's a lot to keep up with. And you're doing this all on top of, being a mom, working for the enemy. You want to talk about that for a minute?
I do. I sell merch for Live Nation during the outdoor season at PNC Amphitheater and also at CMCU. Just when national bands roll through for their big shows, I'm out there selling T-shirts, interacting with all the fans, getting to know the fan bases. So that helps a lot with our local scene too, because it helps me see what's selling merch-wise for these bands to help them become profitable.
Yeah, I joke about Live Nation being the enemy. In a lot of ways they are, but in a lot of ways it's actually, and I would imagine it's helped you it's helped you in this mission to help these local bands get on bigger shows, get in bigger venues, and
Absolutely.
like you just said, sell better merch and raise those types of sales.
And I've got connections with other promoters in the area that bring in the national bands. So a lot of my local bands have opened up on the big stage for Nonpoint, Puddle of Mud, Wednesday 13, Smile Empty Soul, Gemini Syndrome, Adelita's Way. Otherwise, like, we've had a whole slew of our bands just on that stage playing for those national acts, opening up and bringing the energy to match.
And that's invaluable experience for a lot of these local bands. It's opportunities like that are so hard to come by. And I think a misconception, or maybe something people don't really understand about trying to make it music. First of all, if you want to make it, if you want to get on those bigger stages, you have to take it seriously, and you have to practice. You have to treat it like a business as well as a family. Yep. And getting an opportunity like that, that's a really big deal, especially for a group of guys that come from a small town out of nowhere, and you've got this gift, you've got this thing that you can do that's really cool, and people want to see it, but they don't know they want to see it until you get on a stage with a name that people already know. Exactly.
And I try to match up the bands to the sound so that it's the most exposure for these local bands. So even if it's not a band I manage, if I know a band in our network that would fit that bill, like, I'm pushing them, because we want maximum. Everybody grows, and that means our whole scene gets supported. And that's kind of what creative music management has worked towards, is creating that family in our music scene, because I can look out at every single crowd and you've got somebody from different bands watching the ones on stage, and they're not even on the bill. Like, it's awesome to look around and see 8 or 9 other bands out there supporting each other and pushing each other, sharing each other's posts. That's the community we want here. Like, we can reach out to somebody last minute and pull them onto a bill, and they're out there pushing it. They're pushing everybody further.
In a lot of ways, these local musicians, sometimes they make the best audiences.
They do.
They come and they're the ones starting the pit, the metal show. And, they're the ones getting the drink in everybody's hand and out there shouting.
I mean, you've got Icon Pit Crew, which is very dominant in our area, and they bring the energy every show we're at. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're jumping ahead of me. I was going to bring it up. Before we talk about Icon Pit Crew, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about how you started creative music management. Like, what were you doing at the time when the idea hit you, where the idea come from, and how did it turn into what it is today?
I started working merch with Scars, and I was working on street teams for local, like 297 Entertainment, local production companies that were bringing in these bigger name bands. And I was just watching and learning how everything was going. And at first it was all cutthroat. People were competing for things, and it wasn't the vibe that I saw at like Scars shows. Everybody just embraced everybody else. We were constantly networking. And from there, I started learning just the insides of the festival world, because I do online promotions for DWP. And I was seeing what we could change and implementing little things here and there through, me and Travis talking with Scars Remain. And then I was approached by a couple more bands to help them, and it just kind of grew from there. And I love what I do. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly networking. If I'm at a show, I'm out networking with the other bands, with the production companies, the fans, getting to know them. And there's several that just watch like what I do, and they'll automatically just show up to a show because they know it's going to be a quality event. And, the bands, we put them out there. We're constantly just going and going.
You have this relationship with Travis with Scars. Like, who was it? Is he the one that suggested maybe you start?
Not really. I went to him and I was like, I'm thinking about doing this. And he was like, as much knowledge as you have, like, why not? You could help so many bands. And it was bands we were already playing with. And my second band was Nova Omega, and they're out of Asheville.
Awesome band, by the way.
And I worked with them, got them on some bigger shows, and then just more bands started rolling in. A Young Man's Burial, or AYMB. They came to me at a Scars show. Scars was opening up for Nonpoint at Amos's, and they approached me and I started asking about what I do. And I've learned the social media algorithms. Since I work from home, I'm able to be online and checking out shows and seeing what drops so we can get a head start on the other bands. And then it just grew from there. Pretty much everybody saw how much support this creative music management bands were getting, and it just caught on.
Snowball.
It absolutely did. I've been working with a lot of them over this last year, and just to watch the progression of it all. Like, some of them were very unorganized at the beginning, but now every time somebody plays a show, I get a call. Your guys were on time. They were absolutely amazing. Like, I tell my bands, as much as I represent you, you represent me. So let's work together and keep building.
One of the things that all of your bands seem to have this common thread, it's this enthusiasm and positive kind of attitude toward promotion, booking, doing shows, and supporting each other.
Absolutely.
We hosted a show for our Christmas party, and we'll talk about that more in a little bit. But we had Dovecakes was here. They weren't on that bill, but they were here to support you.
Strike the Tower was here. A Young Man's Burial was here, and Forever May Fall was here. To see all the bands come together. Because I look out at the crowd and I'm like, hey, that's awesome. Like, and they know each other's songs, so they're singing them back to each other, or they're getting on stage and doing it with them. And that's the community.
It's such a supportive community. And that's, you reached out to me, right around the time, or right before we were open, or right when we opened the Rooster. And, I'll tell it, it's kind of funny. Right when we opened, I was adamant about how to get booked at the Rooster. Go to the website, use the booking tab, and not to be a jerk about it, but the reason why I do that is because when people send me social media messages, I'll read them because I'm impulsive and I can't just wait. So I'll read the message and then I go off and I do what I have to do for the day, and then I'll completely forget about it. And it might be 3 days later, I'm like, oh shit, I meant to hit them back. But if you go to the website, that will sit in my inbox, and I won't check that email until I'm in front of a computer and I have time to dedicate and focus, because I listen to everybody. Believe it or not, everybody that sends us emails, I listen to the music, I go to the social media, I check it all out. Well, one day I'm sitting at home and my phone just starts dinging like 14 times in a row. I'm like, what's going on? And it's 14 different bands, and all of them are managed by Missy Wood. And I'm like, who is this Missy Wood? So I go online and I look and I see the creative music label, and instead of like hitting back for each band, I just sent Missy an email. I was like, why don't you just come talk to me? And she did. She come down, her and her husband Rob come down, and we had a nice long conversation.
We did.
And I was like, of course I'm getting 15,000 people are trying to reach out to me to book shows. So I'm like, well, I'll give you this one opportunity. Here's this one night, and Missy just, you killed it. They brought a crowd here, and then we did the Christmas party, and the Christmas party was amazing. One of the things I love most about Missy is how flexible you are. Like, it's what a lot of promoters, a lot of promoters want to have control over certain things and this and that. And I'm not a control freak. I'm like, I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I'm like, whatever makes everyone happy. But for the Christmas party, it was Scars Remain. It was 50 Flies. It was Witness Marks. And I wanted to make it our Christmas party. It wasn't going to be a Christmas party. It was just going to be a show. So I reached out to Missy, and I'm like, what do you think about making this a Christmas party? She's like, great idea. And I hit her right back. I was like, what do you think about doing a toy drive? So I wanted to do something to give back. And I'll let you take it from there.
Pretty much, I was searching for something to do. Every year, I try to sponsor a business, something, for the holiday season. And I do it with my kids. So last year we chose Meals on Wheels in Cabarrus County, and we sent blankets, health and beauty products, stuff for the elderly people that would be an extra expense for them. This year I was really pushing for a toy drive, but I wasn't sure how I was going to do it. So this kind of gave me a goal on, okay, we can do it at the Rooster while bands are playing. Like, everybody can still be having fun and get the whole community involved. And I brought my kids to the show as well, so they were involved. And it just snowballed from there. Like, the bands were on board. We were setting up links to have an Amazon wish list, and more donations would come in every single day. And I was just blown away by all of it.
Yeah, I mean, the text conversation we were having, it was almost like a one-up conversation. It was like, well, we can do this, we can do this, we can do a raffle, we can give away merch bundles. And Missy's like, well, the bands will give merch bundles. I'm like, Rooster will give merch bundles. It's like, I got a hall pass I'll give away. And Missy throws the trump card down and sends me a picture of a 7-string Ibanez. I'm like, yeah, I can't do that.
I wanted it to, each little piece of it was more promotion. And it was for the bands, for creative music management, for the Rooster, for the whole scene as a whole, because we all came together and did it. It wasn't just, Scars hosted this. It was a whole big family event. And that the whole atmosphere that night was a big family. Yeah,
this was a room filled with love that night. And let's not forget the reason, the people who got the benefit from that, when I mentioned doing a toy drive, Missy already knew who she wanted to do it for. And so she hit me and said, I want to do it for a domestic violence shelter. And we just so happened to have one right up the street from where we're located. So I asked her, I was like, well, can I call this place first? Because they're local to here. I know you live in Cabarrus County or in Gaston County. So I reached out to Hope United Survivors Network. And as soon as I told them what we were trying to do, they were on board. They were super cool. They even brought some big tubs for us to throw the gifts in. And ultimately, tell them what we did.
We raised close to $4,000 worth of toys for the local domestic violence shelter, which just filled my heart. Like, it was everything from Lego sets, Nerf guns, like
bicycles.
Just the impact of all of it, and everybody walking through the door with the support, and it was amazing to see put together. I have no words for that. I still get chills
sometimes. I think about it. I get a little up in my feelings about it just because I wanted to do something good, something to give back, and the level to which we took it, it's like, well, now we've set a bar.
Yeah. And everybody's already asking me, like, are we doing it again next year? Like,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Like, we will absolutely put together, and I would like to do a couple other fundraisers throughout the year just because our metal community cares. And it's their way of giving back to the community that comes out and supports them at their shows. Or the communities that, even sharing their posts out there on social media, like listening to their music, everything, like they want a way to give back to, and it was a perfect way for all of us to just.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the metal community, people have heard me say it before. It's such a great community to be a part of.
It truly is.
There's a misconception out there about the Rooster that we're just this metal bar, which is not the case. I guess I'll take the moment to address this right now. We're not a metal bar. I just happen to be a metalhead who has this venue. I still like all other types of music, but that's where my heart's at because growing up, going to shows, I've been to hundreds, if not thousands of concerts, and the metal shows are always the most communal. Yesterday I was having a conversation with a couple of buddies, and two of us are metalheads, the other guy's not, and he sent us this video of like a nasty mosh pit. I think it was a Lamb of God mosh pit or something.
Oh yeah.
And we were like, yeah, that's what it's like. Yeah, he's like, is it really like this? I'm like, yeah, it's really like this. And as the conversation progressed, I trying to explain it to my friend in a way like that doesn't make it look like people just doing wild dancing.
Yeah, some people just don't understand until you experience it in person. we do get labeled. It's, oh, you guys are so violent. But what they don't see is if somebody falls down in that pit, we're the first ones to pick them back up.
And you protect the young. You protect the weak. And, I attributed it to, I was like, well, think about it like this. It's no different than native rain dancing or, cultural, ritual dance scene and things like that. It's what it is. Mosh pit is a dance. It just happens to be, slightly more violent than people are used to, but it's not. And
we watch out for the crowd too. Yeah. Like you have that wall around the pit that's not going to let that pit get past that point.
Yeah.
So people can still enjoy the music, but at the same time, you've got this family in the middle that are, because the bands feed off that energy too. As much as the fans feed off the bands feed off the fans. And it's a mutual respect, and bands want to see that movement. Like
it's like being filled with the Holy Spirit when you're in church.
Yeah,
that's the best way I can put it to people that don't get it. It's the same feeling. It's the same emotion. And
we both go to the festivals.
Yeah.
That's a whole other world outside of it. 4 days of being out there and listening to hundreds of bands and moshing and like. It's a whole vibe.
And I've never had a negative experience at any of these festivals. Now, just like anything else in life, there's assholes. There's people that get in there and act like jerks. We had to remove someone from the Carolina Headbangers Ball because they were getting a little too rowdy trying to put their hands on people. And, there's going to be people like that in any, no matter where you go. There's going to be people that take advantage.
It's just part of what they do. They don't understand either. So until, they learn, we teach them. Right. We do it, if you can't follow the rules, then you're out.
So while we're on the subject of this metal community, this metal family, let's talk about your T-shirt.
So Icon Pit Crew is a internet-based Facebook group that was created by Spoon out of Raleigh.
Shout out to Spoon.
Very much. Love you, Spoon. When he was younger, he had a collapsed lung, and they pretty much told him he was born with like a form of emphysema, and told him like he would have to, limit what he did, and he didn't accept that. It started out with like 5 or 6 of his friends going to shows and moshing. And then it grew into, I think we're over 3,000 members now. I know at Blue Ridge Rock Fest this year, we had over 600 members there. And everybody looks out for everybody. If you see somebody fall down, you pick them back up. Nobody ever gets left behind. Icon, we really found a family with that. We have tons of veterans, and everybody groups together and watches out for everybody else.
So Spoon starts this group of guys going to shows, and their infectious love of music
just grew.
Just grew, and more people became attracted to it.
Yep.
Has this magnetic energy at shows, and Tim was here last night, and Tim was telling me
Tim's amazing too.
Tim's an amazing guy. I love this guy, man. I've just recently met him, but he's already one of my favorite
people. One of my best friends ever.
He brought his adopted niece to the show last night. She had a blast. It was awesome. And he was telling me at Blue Ridge Rockfest last year how there were like 20 or 30-something campers, RV campers, that took over a whole section of the camping area and created, like, you had this little community within this bigger community.
We had 32 camping spaces between us, and we had one side of it was all set up in a kitchen area, dining room area. All the food stayed over there. The other side was just tents, and literally it was everybody cooking for everybody making sure everybody's got what they need. Like, everybody chipped in for food. It was huge. And then we ended up working, helping catch crowd surfers because they were struggling with their security. So Icon really got noticed at Blue Ridge this year with that. I mean, I know I was there to catch crowd surfers with Tim at I Prevail.
I mean, how about that? I mean, not only you're stepping in and making the experience better for everybody. Yep. Taking your attention away from the show to make sure that people are safe and
absolutely. And that's what it's all about. It's if somebody gets hurt, we help them. If somebody falls down, we pick them up. And we have
I think that the thing that we're not talking about here, and we're talking about all of these things that make this community great, but the thing that brings us all together
is music.
Is the music itself.
Yep.
And it's really is Icon Pit Crew, Creative Music, the Christmas Party Fundraisers. These are all results of this large group of people's love for this art form.
Yep.
This
and it's noticed too, like national bands.
Yes.
I Prevail's come out with an Icon Pit Crew shirt on. We're in 3 of their music videos. Like Beartooth, same way. They notice. They're always calling for Icon. At Incarceration last year, Icon got called out by I Prevail 4 times. They were like, "Oh, we see our pit crew here. Like, let's go." And everybody feeds off that energy.
Not to sound corny, but that's the power of love. Like that is the power of love of music, love of one another, love of community. This is, and that's exactly what we're about here at the venue. That's why this thing got started.
You hear a lot of people say, the people I met through music. And that's what it is. You don't meet a stranger at these shows. We all look out for one another. We're all there for the same purpose, to support these bands and to show the love to the whole community.
There's been times in my life where I've gone to concerts by myself because either my friends were too lame or or nobody. I didn't have anyone. There have been times in my life where there was no one else to be around, to hang out with, to talk to, and you go to shows and you get to be a part of something bigger. You meet people. You get to have conversations with people that are like-minded, and I don't know, man. I could go on for days and days about how awesome live music is. I mean, clearly I love it.
I don't think I'd know what to do without it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. Not everybody comes from different paths, man. If you hear nothing else today, hear this. It doesn't matter what your status is, where you were raised. There's a lot of talk today about, some people get born with advantages and some people get born with disadvantages. But, when I go to these shows, I see all those people, all of them. I see the kids that were raised with money. I see the kids that were raised with nothing. I see the kids that, shipped off into the military because there were no other options. And now they're home trying to deal with whatever trauma they had to endure to make a life for themselves. And, all of these people, we ourselves sharing this love for one thing. And that's what makes what we do awesome. I can't thank you enough for sending me those emails, because our goals have aligned. Like, our goals are the same. We do different things, but we're trying to achieve the same goals.
Yep. And that first meeting we had, I walked in and it was instant with us. We both just started talking about different, festivals we've gone to, what our goals were, everything. And I think that was 2.5 hour meeting.
Yeah, you were here for a while.
And it was family. It wasn't.
I certainly felt it immediately. I mean, you and your husband both. I could feel this energy, this connective energy, and it was like this is something. There's something here, and now we've got more shows coming up, more things to do. We're super supportive. I'm the only one doing the social media amongst a lot of other things, so I try to be as active as I can, sharing everybody's stuff. Yeah. And people don't realize how much that matters, especially to local bands that don't have big followings. When you get out there and you watch their video and you share it and you comment on it and all that stuff, matters.
It helps with the algorithms on social media, and it helps keeping it in the feed. I do a lot of the social media posting for the bands I work with, and it's a constant rotation of, small little inside clips or announcements for new releases, announcements for shows. It's a constant battle. And everybody that works on social media knows, there's certain times you have to post to get the best views. And the more people comment, the more people react, it gets out to an even wider crowd. And that's what we try to do. You see just about every single one of the bands I work with sharing other people's posts, encouraging, commenting, let's go. We're ready to play a show with you. I've seen some of our shows, we've taken a small tavern and turned it into a venue because we pack it right out. And it's a lot of the same.
Even I was teetering, not being prepared enough for the Christmas story. And I was joking with Missy before we started about how, the one thing about the Christmas show that I didn't like was that I didn't really get to take in the performances. I was so busy behind the bar, which is a good thing. I'm not complaining, but I know I'll get a chance to see all those bands again here because they were all phenomenal. And I know each of those bands gained a few more fans that night. We gained a small following from that show. Yeah. And if I haven't said it yet, I want to say thank you to the Icon Pit crew because we've already sold a couple of our hall passes for 2023 to Icon Pit crew members, and they're coming to these shows every week and supporting what we're doing. I can't thank you guys enough. Tim, Mike, Tanya, I love you guys, man. We recently met, but already there's a connection.
I know Scott Callahan's been here several times.
Yeah, Scott was here last night.
Yep. I mean, and the more people see like Tim and everybody out, the more people come in. So,
well, I'd imagine if you're sitting at home, and you're sitting, some of this stuff's coming across your social media, and you're just sitting at home being a grumpy pants, not going to shows, you have to see the positive energy coming off of it. You have to know that there's something awesome going on.
And Tim's got it down to a science. Like, he has a planned out calendar every month.
He was showing it to me the last couple of
And every time I drop a new one, I'll be like, here, Tim, you got another one. But it's a whole vibe. Like, and with Icon, we look at each show as a family reunion. We can go and we know everybody there and we're, having fun.
There's definitely a different energy in the room when the Icon's in the house. So,
and it's not always wild pits. It's sometimes, we all just wrap our arms around each other and in a circle. And
I love the thing that they do, that you guys do at the end of every show. The bands, everyone from the crew gets together in front of the stage and takes a big family photo. We did that last night, and they were like, "Michael, get in here!" And I was like, it's a good feeling.
We've got family photos with 3 people. We've got family photos with 600 people. It's if you enjoyed the show and you enjoyed our energy, get in our family photo. You can be a part of this too, and let's create this whole scene of following these bands around.
Let's make a scene.
Yeah.
The Southeast is just, it feels like, because, I've been at this for the last 4 years trying to get this place open, and I've recently, become, partnered up with you guys, but for the last 4 years, I've been paying attention to all of the talent, the music in this area, and it's almost like there's this stew brewing in the Southeast, and it feels like there's going to be an explosion of, like akin to the Seattle grunge days, where there's going to be a handful of bands from this Southeast scene that's about to emerge and be huge. And, I could be wrong about that, but it certainly feels
pushed
like
hard
it's
enough.
Right.
I mean, you have some of the larger festivals do allow these smaller bands on, but it's a competition. Like, you have to be on top of your game if you want to play these bigger festivals. And I think
that's a whole nother conversation about taking your craft seriously. We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but it's true. You want that exposure, you got to do more than just, share your upcoming show.
Exactly.
You got to be grinding, constant promotion, and you need to be tight. Don't get up there and be sloppy on stage.
You have to give them something to work with, submitting your EPK. That requires having recordings that actually portray what you are, because nobody wants to hear, a total different sound when you're going to play live. So it is an art. It's get out there, master what you're doing, get in there, record it, get it on those streaming devices so everybody can listen to it. When we do releases, like, we hype it up, and, you do your pre-saves, and you never know who's going to hear that song.
Take it seriously.
Exactly.
Take it seriously. Treat it with the reverence and respect it deserves. And if you work hard enough and you're creative enough, you'll get somewhere. That feels like a good place to kind of anything you want to promote. You got some upcoming shows you want to promote. I'll talk a little bit about what we've got coming up, but you want to promote some of the other shows for some of your bands?
Well, we've got Cutthroat Susie's opening up for A Light Divided down at the Radio Room on the 26th.
That's in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yep. We've got the Rooster here with Dove Cage and our homies in Waking Terra. We didn't set up the show, but Solaris had reached out to us and asked us about an opener. So we're bringing Dove Cage. If you haven't checked them out, they just released a single about a week ago.
Really fun song.
It is a really...
Bang My Life. Great
It
song.
is a great song. It's very catchy. I love it.
It is very catchy.
Next month, we are taking over Tavern 74 in Monroe. And we've got Strike the Tower, Antigone, Minus 22, and The Sour all going out there. We do that every couple months. We'll put on a little show out there. I say little, but we usually have a very good turnout, actually. It's just a fun place to get out and watch some live music. Monroe doesn't have much, honestly. We also have Dove Cage has a release party that we're going to be doing for their EP that's coming out, and we're going to be doing that here at the Rooster end of next month.
February 24th.
The Sour is just all over the place. They're heading to Chapel Hill, Asheville, playing the Skylark, playing the Milestone. They're a young, fun, energetic band that everybody should check out. I believe Cutthroat is playing with Redefined at the Radio Room in Greenville. That place is really nice. I know a lot of the bands enjoy playing down there. We've got some other dates that we've secured.
We'll talk about that stuff later. We'll make those announcements later. But yeah, we're going to continue to work with Missy and her crew and her bands. They're not for nothing. The music's great. Like, we haven't even talked about how awesome the music is. But all of these bands sound great, and they're all taking it seriously. As far as we go, you can come check us out. We're at 334 West Main in downtown Gastonia. Every Wednesday, we do a singer-songwriter open mic. We have a sign-up sheet. You get 15 minutes of stage time. You can do whatever you want. You can play originals. You can play covers. You can get up there and fart on a snare drum. I don't care. But you
never know who's going to be there looking for talent.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, every week I get surprised every week. Somebody shows up that I haven't seen before, or maybe they've been in there and haven't gotten up on stage. And every week, a person surprises me
because bands are constantly rotating through members at times, and
everyone needs a drummer.
Yes, everybody needs a drummer. But it's a great way to get out and see what other local talent is out there, because there's side projects going on, and there's so many moving pieces.
I mean, hell, this past Wednesday, Jade Moore is a local singer-songwriter that plays around town, and she popped in for our open mic, got up there to play, and there's this family that has been coming in on Wednesdays to watch the open mic, which more of you should do that. You don't have to be an artist to come, because it's free entertainment. But this family comes in, they've got this little girl who's 8 years old, and Jade's up there singing, and the little girl wanted to go up and sing, and Jade starts playing, Let It Go from Frozen, and this little 8-year-old's up there singing. I mean, she's never going to forget that. And,
no.
Jade gave this to that little girl on our stage, so it just, it's one of those heartwarming moments where it's like, man, this is why we're doing it.
And that's the next generation. That's the next generation of fans. Why not start them out young?
Right. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Other shows that we got at the Rooster, this coming Friday, the 20th, we've got Elements in Tune. It's going to be a jazz, R&B kind of groove night. Then the next day, Saturday the 21st, we have our Roostapalooza Artisan Market from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then we'll shut down for a couple hours. And that night, we've got Tangerine Trees, who's a Beatles tribute band, with Scandal and Jefferson Avenue, Saturday night, the 21st. And then next Sunday, the 22nd, we've got Remnants of Bluegrass. So we got a nice bluegrass show coming. Other shows, we've got a stand-up comedy show on Thursday, the 26th, hosted by comedian Ray Money. We got Joy Wills and Todd Riley will be performing that night. All three of those guys are regulars at the Comedy Zone, and they all are traveling comedians doing it professionally for a living. So it's going to be a fun show. Missy hinted earlier, we've got Waking Terra with Solaris, State of Illusion, and Dove Cage on Saturday the 28th. That's going to be a really fun show. The very next night, we got a heavy metal show with Fault Union, Fear Illusion, and Omen Killer. is coming up from Georgia. They played a show here back in October. They were fantastic. They're going to open that show, and that's Sunday the 29th. And then also we have the Dove Cage EP release party on February 24th. That's a Friday night. We've got a lot more stuff. Check us out. Check out our website at theroostergastonia.com if you want more information on events. The events tab has all of our ticketed concerts. Go to our Facebook page. Look for our events tab there. You'll see all of our regular shows, weekly and monthly things we got going on. Missy, is there anything else you want to share before we get out of here?
No, you can find Creative Music Management on Facebook. We keep a constant run of shows that all our bands are playing on.
Jump in on the Love Fest, right? Like, follow Creative Music, follow the Rooster. Like, get in on this, man. Stop sitting around being negative. Like, become part of something bigger, man. Like, the whole goal, same thing with you. The whole goal here was to create something that
absolutely
we could all be a part of and share.
And if you're interested in helping, Creative Music Management has started a street team. It's social media based and in-person based. We'll be handing out flyers. We help share the posts and get these bands out there. So you can contact me at Creative Music Management.
Awesome. Well, that's going to do it for Rooster Radio. We're back, baby. We're going to be doing this every week, so stay tuned. Follow us on all the social medias and come to shows. Missy, I really appreciate you coming in today. Thank you so much. All right. Peace and love.